Welcome back to Poke Nation. We got the champ, Coach Landreneau. Welcome back, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all having me.
Congratulations on another championship, and we're getting ready to go on an NCAA regional. First of all, congratulations. Talk about the tournament. I mean, obviously, you made it interesting this year.
Definitely.
But people don't realize how hard it is to win games, and especially tournament games. Talk about the tournament.
Yeah, tournament is exciting. I mean, it was definitely stress-filled. But people forget once you get to the tournament, everything's heightened up a little bit. And, people play. And if you look at the tournament this year, it was just great games across the board. Besides our games, a ton of 1-1 games, a ton of come from behind. And definitely had our challenges. The biggest thing for us is we had two come from, the first two rounds were come from behind win. And, in the semis, we get ourselves in a pickle right there, give up 6 in the first. And our kids really did a good job of staying composed and just kind of chipping away. And our goal was, hey, let's get to the 7th and have a swinging chance. And we did. We were able to get somebody on an error. We bunt them over, then we get a big pinch. We tie it up on a squeeze, and then get a pinch hit from Ramirez to tie the game, and then send it to the 8th and able to pull away. So it was good. You saw the team really mature. You knew all along we had some young players, talented players, but young, but really held their composure. But I mean, I tell you what was really, we have a freshman that hit 700 in the tournament, and Christine Marino. I mean, she had outstanding 2 walk-off base hits and extra innings. So it was great to see a bunch of kids contribute, but it's also great to see some young kids contribute, knowing that we love where we're at right now, and the future's still bright.
So let me ask you this, Coach. So obviously you're down, right? You're down 6-0. What was the conversation like in the dugout?
It's simple. Hey guys, we've trained for this. We talk about adversity. So we don't know what adversity is going to be, but we know it's coming.
That's right.
And so when adversity hits, how do you handle it? Get back in the moment and play one pitch at a time. Yep. And so the message to the kids was, hey, we don't need 6 runs right now.
That's right.
We need to put some quality bats. We need to get some traffic on bases and chip away. And I said once we could get it, the number one goal was cut it in half. And so we answered and we cut it in half. And then you can kind of see we start to put some pressure, start to extend some at bats, extend some innings, and kind of wear them down. And awesome. And we're able to minimize damage. Whitney Tate came in, she minimized traffic on the bases, and we made a couple good defensive plays. And that was the thing. We knew the game wasn't over, and there was no panic in the kids. So that's what I was really excited to see. When I saw how they held everything together, and like you said, hey, can we truly play one pitch at a time?
No doubt. It's awesome.
What does a game like that do and a setting like that do for you going forward? Because now you've seen the worst it can be.
Yeah.
You have to be prepared. You can overcome it as you move forward into a regional.
We call those things cookie jar moments, right? And we tell our players, you're going to go through some really tough spots in life in general. Like, we train real hard in the off season, and sometimes they don't think they can make it through that session. And when they do, like, man, okay, I can make it. And I said, that's your cookie jar moment. That's what you go back to when things get real tough. You say, okay, I've overcome this before. And I think that's a big moment. And we talked about it after the championship game. I said, what was that cookie jar moment for you guys? And they're like, hey, when we came back from Northwestern, we had some confidence after that.
Right.
And then you come back from that game, they had a ton of confidence going into the final. So I think regardless, like for this year, going into regionals and just the future of the program, they'll reflect back on those moments and make them a better team and know, hey, if there's a pitch, there's a chance. We're not like most sports that have a clock.
Right.
There's a pitch, there's a chance.
So let me ask you this, Coach. So obviously we're at Bodine's last night.
Yep.
And Selection Sunday. And we pop up. Number one, we're third 3 seed.
Yep.
In our region. And we're heading to Chicago. We're going all the way to Northwestern State, right?
I tell you.
And play 3 Midwest teams. Yeah. Tell me what you thought in that moment when your name popped up as number one, as a 3rd seed, and getting on a plane going to Chicago.
Off guard, blank. I was like, really? First time ever. First time I was like, man, because when Northwestern came up, I didn't even pay attention to that because we've never been sent out there before. So kind of shocked. I mean, I think like everybody else in the room, I think we were really shocked to see that. Excited though.
Right.
Excited. Every time we've been in a regional before, we've always been preparing for teams that we've played already during the season.
Right.
So kind of just that being somewhere different, playing some teams we haven't played. There's some excitement there. I think we like it. Last night was we know Notre Dame is really good. You know, they're 39-10, and you're gonna play a good Northwestern team in that regional, as well as no, I'm trying,
Oakland.
Oakland will be there, and they won their conference. So regionals is always going to be tough, you know. But we're able to start watching video, get excited about it, and start game planning. So we're excited about it. Excited about to get on a plane and travel somewhere different.
Well, I think it's really cool too because softball. I mean, the people in the Midwest really don't realize how big and how good softball is in this region.
Yeah.
They're you know, what do we say down here? They're fixing to find out.
Absolutely.
But what an exciting day, and it's just amazing. The funniest thing though was when one of the girls, I was standing next to you, and one of the girls said, "When do we get on the bus to Chicago?"
How long a drive is that? So,
That's
hey, what's crazy is majority of our players have never been to Chicago,
For sure.
including my coaching staff. But you know, Erica Piancastelli plays in there in the summer. She sent me some. She said, you know, there's some good McNeese vibes in Chi-Town.
I love it.
So she's excited. It's great to see alumni reach out to us. I think the community's excited about the opportunity.
No question, it's awesome.
When we come back on Poke Nation, we'll talk about the regional and getting to play Notre Dame.
Yeah.
You'll see gold helmets after this. We're back on Poke Nation talking regional, Notre Dame, Northwestern. But first of all, what's it like now? You're going to be the first team in a long time to play Notre Dame. You played them, what, in 03, I think?
Yeah, I wasn't here back
Yeah.
then, so someone else played them. But yes, our
You
program.
get national attention when you play them.
Absolutely. And you know, national attention. This is the thing. They play in the ACC. We know they're a good team. That they're always ranked in the top 25. They're explosive offense. Watched some video last night. Look at their numbers. They could really swing it and they score in bunches. You know, the top part of the order is going to stress you out with trying to keep the ball in the park. So a little bit, you know, Northwestern pitches exceptionally well. So kind of looking at both of those options there. But obviously, you guys just prepare for Notre Dame, and they've had a lot of success. You know, last year that they were in the finals of the regional in Kentucky, and dropped 2 games to Kentucky for Kentucky to move on to the Super. So they have a ton. I think they've been to the regional the last 20 years is what I was.
Wow.
So they have a ton of experience. So we have our work cut out for us, but you know, we just gonna have to match up. But I think anywhere you go in a regional, we know how it is that you're gonna have your work cut out for you. I mean, there's only 64 teams out of 303 teams, so you know it's always gonna be good softball.
And the ACC is a really good conference. People don't know that as much, but it's a really good conference. Notre Dame's kind of picked up since they've gone to the ACC.
Absolutely. You know, what Clemson and Duke have done, you know, Florida State has always been a mainstay of that conference, right? And Lonnie and her program, you know, win a national championship, constantly being in the World Series. But, you know, then you add what Duke and Clemson's done recently. It's been really impressive to add. You know, Virginia was much better this year, good team, as well as Notre Dame jumps in there. So they play good softball, arguably, you know, top 3 conferences in the country.
So, Coach, let me ask you this. So, obviously, this is not your first regional. This program has had so much success, 8 championships since 2016, back-to-back tournaments. Going into this regional, and I know we talked about it at the end of last year, you know, the next step for the program is to win a regional.
Absolutely.
Are you thinking about doing anything different leading up to this regional than you have in the past?
You know, I think this year we prepared a little different all season, and it seemed to kind of start working the right time. So I think what we've done this year is different than what we've done in the past.
What did you do different?
And I think we spent a little bit more time on the night before games, not just on scouting reports, but just making mental stuff. You know, just making sure that we're in the right space, right mind, talking a game, talking through situations. You know, our routines are a little bit better. In the past, I don't think sometimes we're very inconsistent and kind of let the moment, like no matter what, we're going to watch film the night before, we're going to do stretching the night before, kind of make sure our kids' mind is exactly where before they go to bed, is exactly where we want it to be.
Right.
And then when we wake up in the morning, you know, after team breakfast, that's the first thing we go back and touch on again, is making sure, hey, we talk about playing one pitch at a time, but that's easy said, but how do you do it?
That's right.
And making sure the night before and the morning of, we really have an emphasis on it. you know, talent's talent, you know, and you guys have been covering sports and coaching sports long enough. You see talented people all over.
For sure.
But it's the stuff between the ears that allows your talent to come out. And we got to make sure our kids in good headspace.
Yeah.
And so that's been a lot of our focus this year.
Will it feel more like a regional because you're getting on a plane, because you're not going to be in the same area? And what do you think about the NCAA kind of moving pieces around this year?
I love what they've done. I think they've added some excitement to sports. You know, it's been so predictable in the past. Wherever you're at, they're going to bunch everybody together, and you're going to play against the same people that you schedule your tournaments and midweeks
Right,
against.
right.
Right now, they moved everybody across the country. It seemed like they had a true plan, maybe, you know, for seeding goes and matchups, and I like it. I really think they did the best interest of the sport this year versus maybe what's the best interest of a budget, and so we're excited to see it. You know, it's the first time, you know, we've always been, like I said, we've always been paired up with someone that was on our schedule.
That's right.
And
That's
so it's very unique, and I like it. You know, it forces all of us to really do our homework and prepare, and I like that option because I know we don't mind work and getting prepared.
So I'm always curious about this, you know, because I coached for a long time. You're going into a regional, and there's 3 other teams, right?
Yeah.
So how do you divide up the scouting reports, or do you with your staff? Are you everyone's focused right now on Notre Dame? Do you have someone looking at Northwestern and Oakland? Like, talk about that.
The way we do our scouting reports is everybody has a different scout that they're working on. So they're working.
Yep.
So everybody's going to work on right now. Obviously, Notre Dame has to be first.
Right.
And we're going to plan equally for all 3 teams.
Yep.
Starting in order. But you know, Coach Denham is going to go ahead and she's going to scout their offense the best she possibly can and give me a pretty good report there. Coach Landreneau going to all their pitching. Corey's going to look at their defense and see kind of the shifts, and then we put it all together. But yeah, right now we have to do all 3 teams because there's going to be one team you're not going to play, but you don't know who it is.
That's right.
You don't know who
Exactly
it
right.
is.
Exactly right.
When we come back on Poke Nation with Coach's final thoughts, and by the way, that's my hometown, you know, Chicago.
Is that right?
He's already telling me the best pizza place.
Best pizza. Little Malnati's Pizza beats them all. I'm telling you. Deep dish, you like thin crust, whatever you like. That's the place to go. Lou
Chicago's
Malnati.
a deep dish place, right?
Yeah, but don't tell him that. He doesn't like that. When we come back on Poke Nation right after this, we're both back with Coach Landreneau. And Coach, an opportunity for your program to grow. We've talked about kind of branding it, but now you're getting a national brand getting out there. As you go see and play other areas, how important is it for McNeese to kind of make a statement that we're a place that maybe these schools want to come play in the spring?
Absolutely. You know, anytime you can get out there, I think we've done a really good job over the last several years in the South and being across the South and even, you know, a little bit of West Coast. This first time we've been up north, and so this will be a unique opportunity. But, you know, with the way television is now, you're able to get on and hey, if you can win, anytime you can win a game in something like a tournament, like the NCAA tournament, it says a lot for your program and kind of puts you out there. I know when we played George Washington last year, they had no clue who we were. You know, they'd never heard of McNeese State.
No doubt.
And so for us to be on the big stage and have some success, yes, I think it brings notoriety to to the university, which helps all sports. You know, what's crazy is what we don't realize is how athletics just all ties into each other. When you're recruiting some of these players and they've seen another sport play on TV they've heard of, it's a lot easier to get them in for recruiting. And you know, just the confidence of our players as we build that they see in, hey, we're putting all this work in and we're starting to see progress. And they want more. This group wants more. It's a long time coming, and so we're excited for the opportunity. But we also, you know, we came in, we checked a couple boxes. We knew we wanted to win a conference championship outright, and we were fortunate enough to. We knew we wanted to win a tournament to be able to get to the NCAA. That was a stepping. You know, you have to go through that process, and we've been in a situation 4 times where we've won a game in a regional. And this team wants more. You know, we want to do more than what's been done and continue to grow. So we're excited about the opportunity.
So Coach, yesterday, you talked about your staff at Bodines.
Yeah.
Talk about your staff. Obviously, they're young, but they're hungry. You say it all the time. You're not the easiest person to work for.
Not at all.
Not the easiest person to play for. But talk about your staff. And I've always believed that you're only as good as you surround yourself with, right? Players and coaches. I think you got a phenomenal staff. But talk about them. Talk about their strengths and what's made this year's staff a little bit better in your mind.
I tell you what I love about our staff is the willingness to learn and the willingness to put the student athlete first over anybody's individual feelings we're able to bring different people in just to try to pick their brain. And every time you come in the meeting, if you come in and talk to our staff, they're going to have a pen and pencil, a pad and pencil. They're always trying to learn. When you're competing at a high, you're trying to compete at a high level, you're trying to put teams together, there's going to be tension. We're all competitive people. And what I love about the staff is we're all able to be ourselves. We're all able to coach, and everybody knows that at the end of the day, everybody's putting in best interest. Coach Landry, I turned hitting over to her this year. It's the first time in 8 years that I've let someone else be in charge of it. And she's done an outstanding job. She comes in the office. She wants to, we still communicate. It's not an ego thing.
Right.
And we're able to bring Coach Denham in. This is her first job. And she gets thrown into it. But what she's able to do the last 3 to 4 weeks, especially our pitching staff, the experience, the patience. And I think the one thing when you talk about with Denham, Coach Corey, and Shelley they have a ton of patience. And they could sit there and just talk it out with our players. And that allows me to be a little bit more intense and kind of mastermind everything. The biggest thing about, I think, anytime you surround yourself with a staff is, can you trust? Can you trust them to deliver a message? Can you trust that they're always going to do what's asked? And do you trust that they're going to help build the culture and the student athlete is put first? And I have total trust in the staff that we have. So I've been fortunate for a young staff in a coaches meeting. You'd think they have a ton of experience, and they don't. Just for the age-wise, they just haven't had that much. Corey transitioned over from being a player to coach. I think that's a very difficult transition, and she's handled great. I mean, she's been able to separate that and actually kind of see the different sides. Same thing with Alyssa. Alyssa was playing this time last year in college, and Shelley, has only been 4 years out of playing herself. So they're talk about trustworthy. They're good people. Good people.
When you get to this point, you've already played the number one team, the number one seed in the country in Oklahoma. You've played powerhouses all year. Do you kind of fall back on that and say, look, we've already been through that. We've been at Oklahoma. We've played these people. That nobody's better than that. Just go play your game now. Is that kind of what you look at? Or?
Yeah, 100%, Jim. Our message is, when you learn how to focus, a lot of times when you haven't played big teams or big schedules and you see it for the first time, you kind of start focus on who you're about to play.
No doubt.
Versus this is what they're going to do, but this is how we have to execute. And look, as a program, we call back on playing the Baylors or beating Florida State. Even though this team hadn't been apart, we still talk about it. Hey, when we beat Florida State and they won a World Series, this is how we went about the game. When you beat a UL that was ranked number 4 in the country, this is how you beat. This is what we did, and I think that's important. A couple years ago, we played Baylor at Texas A&M, and hey, what was our focus? And we kind of go through it with the kids. But the bigger thing was we don't avoid those big moments. We talk about them, but we start talking about them in the fall.
Coach, I just want to tell you at the end here, thank you. What you've done with this program over the last few years is it's unbelievable, and you have helped brand this university and this department, and I appreciate you. Let's go get a regional, my man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate this.
And go have some pizza.
Absolutely.